What's going on, Kenny?
Well, it's not Arnold native. It's Jefferson County redneck native Kenny Wallace.
Yeah, say me too, buddy. I get you, man.
Thank you, buddy.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good out here in Yuma, Arizona, sitting in the hotel lobby, and myself, my brother Mike Wallace, the great Kenny Schrader, and Bo Duke from Dukes of Hazzard. We getting ready to go do a radio show.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. So, Kenny, you're a pro, so I don't know where to start with you. We can talk racing. Yuma, yesterday we had the great YouTube video you put out there. You visited the United States-Mexican border. Where do you want to start here?
Can I, before you do that, can I just say hi to Kenny?
Sure.
Kenny, when I see you at the ball games, it's always a treat. I love following you on social media, and I got to be honest with you. Up to now, the show has been and I got to sit here with a bunch of schlubs. So thank you for coming on and making it all worthwhile.
Hey, first of all, I recognize this voice. Is this my hero? Is this John Hayes?
Well, it's Jim. It's Jimmy the Cat. You son of a gun.
John.
Hey, that's nothing. I went to interview. I believe, John Andretti, and I think I called him Mario one time. And right live on there, he straightened me out. He said, "Okay, thank you, Rusty."
I honestly, when I see you and everything, it's great. I always tell, like, that's the happiest guy I know. The happiest guy. You're always in a good mood, and you bring positivity, which is something that the world needs.
Same with you, buddy. I enjoy following you too. All of you in St. Louis, but especially you. I love how you guys banter back and forth on Twitter, and it is a lot of fun following you. And yes, I love going to the ball games. It's I grew up in St. Louis, a Cardinal fan, and Kenny Schrader says to me, "What is the deal with you and those St. Louis Cardinals?" I'm like, "Are you kidding, Schrader?" I said there's the Catholic religion, and then there's a St. Louis Cardinal religion. So I love going down to the ball game, and it always makes me. You make me feel big time when you say hi to me.
Look, I'm like a mediocre sideline guy. When Kenny Wallace pops by, it makes me feel good.
Stop it now, young man. But, yeah, man, you know what? Where do we start here? Well, I came out here to Yuma, Arizona to be a race car driver, and it's a hell of a good time. It's a really big event, It's incredible to see how many race cars are out here. There's like 400 and something cars. It's the winter time everywhere, right? So where do you go? Either Florida or Arizona. The weather's great out here. It is crazy hard to believe, right? You jump on an airplane, go to St. Louis, and it's been snowing and 6 degrees. But, there's a lot of people out here for this event. I'm excited to be part of it. Now, when I do things like this, I come out and I drive other people's race cars. So, I don't bring my own equipment. So it's been going good. We've been really competitive. But, Charlie, yesterday the sheriff of Yuma, he said, would you all like to see the border? And, I'm thinking, okay, we're just going to go see the wall. My expectations were just, to look at what the border looks like. Man, oh, man, to tell you what, rates right up there with one of the highlights in my life. I got there, and as you saw on our Kenny Wallace YouTube channel, it changed me in a way that I've never been changed before, because when you see what's going on, you realize these people are risking their lives to leave the country that they were born and raised in. It reminds me that they're escaping. They want to get out of where they were born and raised, because, America is just, it's such a great country. It offers so much good. And, it blew me away after I saw everything I witnessed.
And, Kenny, you put out there about a 16-minute video. It was really, really interesting. You're just showing people what's going on, and there were so many interesting parts of it. And what I thought was really interesting at the end there, you're talking with the sheriff, and he was telling you about some of the tricks the cartels use to get drugs in. And what, they had tunnels to a KFC restaurant?
Yeah, just recently. It's like, wow, but they're, they know how much money there is to be made, from Americans that are hooked on drugs, and they bore these holes that are a half a mile long, quarter mile long, and they shove drugs or mail through these, and they had somebody had bought this Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they bought it, and I don't know, turned it into something, and here come to find out, this tunnel was come up through this Kentucky Fried Chicken, and you know, he showed us that. So you know, the things that the lengths that they will go through to try to get to the United States is what is unbelievable to me. You know, we hear it on the news, but you know, I mean, listen, I worked for Fox Sports, you know, out of LA for 15 years. You worked on TV, you know, for 15 years. You know, we understand the TV business. We know, you know, we know how to edit. We know how to tell our side of the story. But until you come down here, it's way worse in real than they showed on TV. It's a disaster in real because it's 24/7. 24/7 just never stops, and the people are, you know, just, you know, nobody wants to do it the legal way. Nobody wants to, you know, go through the border or, you know, try to, you know, seek the right way to do it. So they're just always, you know, trying to, you know, get into the country illegally. And until you see it firsthand, it's mind-boggling. And
you know,
man, oh man.
From what I read about it, it's a tragic situation for everyone, for the border towns, for the folks that are paying their way to smugglers to get them over here, and you know the hardships they go through just to get here, obviously in quest of a better life, and also the way the Border Patrol is so spread out, and the cartels who kind of run this operation know that when there's a lot of people giving themselves up here, it's free to move the fentanyl across the border over here, right? I mean, so it's a tragic situation on a number of different levels, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're really well knowledge there because fentanyl is the new crystal meth, and except it's more potent. So, you know, the ugly part of it is well, let's just start from the beginning. You know, there's an old saying: you either have a border or you don't. You know, there is a Missouri and there's an Illinois, right? If you live in Illinois, you pay more taxes. You know that. You know, but if you live in the city of Chicago, it gets way worse than it does in southern Illinois. So you either have a border or you don't. And there's a border. So they try to, you know, control it. And the ugly part is this. They will rent children out. They'll say, hey, if you carry this child, you know, maybe the border might be more willing to be nice to you. So they'll say, well, I don't have a child. Here, you know, give us $1,000. We'll rent you this child to make it, you know, and then they just give them all these techniques. You know, they pay people like, give me $5,000 and we'll get you to the border. And what I witnessed was off the charts. I mean, they see the Border Patrol, and they if you watch my video, I did start one of them a little late, but there was a family that started running to the United States border. And I said, why are they running right at you? You know, why are they running right at the Border Patrol? They said, because if they get to the United States, if they touch land, then we just got to let them in. We just document them and let them go, because that's the way our government has changed in the last year. So it's very possible to just have undocumented people in the United States, and they're just here. And so you're well educated, but besides just wanting to be here and work here, you know, it gets much uglier than what I'm saying. You know, there is a lot of bad stuff that happens, and you know, I just don't feel like saying it right on radio here. It's ugly.
Yeah, I could only imagine. You know, the other thing that I worry about too, because some places are locking down because of the pandemic. You know, we're hearing like, you know, cities like Chicago, kids aren't in class. You know, obviously,
LA.
The thing is out of control in terms of the way it's being passed around in this country. Do they, from what you saw, do they test the folks, or is there testing, or are they letting people go that could be COVID positive? Because that really seems to fly in the face of what is trying to be accomplished across the rest of the nation.
All day long they come in. They don't take any COVID tests. They just come in, and it's really unbelievable because, you know, America is so great. They come in, and once they do get in illegally, these big church groups have food and water and really good food waiting for them. They have buses, they load them on a bus because once they get to America, they got nowhere to go. They put on these backpacks, right? The illegals, they wear these backpacks, and the backpacks have their dry clothing in them. And once they make it here, they strip up all their wet clothes because they've been going through water and mosh, and they strip. As you saw in my videos, they just and you're right. Most of them, a lot of them might have COVID, and you should see the medicine that they just drop off and leave. I mean, the inhalers and all types of medicine. I mean, I quit filming for a while, but I mean, the trash is unbelievable. But I mean, listen, without getting into politics too much, this whole world right now is very ugly because everybody is speaking what I say, a forked tongue. Every president we've ever been around agrees. I mean, even Obama came out not quite a year ago, and they said, and Obama specifically said, what we are doing right now is not sustainable, quote unquote. So President Obama said that. My Christ's sakes. I mean, it's not sustainable. Listen, 70,000 people crossed the border illegally in the last 3 months right there in Yuma, Arizona. So that's how out of hand it is. They come in, they have COVID, they don't get checked, and they just release. So it's whatever side of the mouth you want to talk out of right now.
Yeah, no, you said it right there. Hey, let me switch gears with you a little bit, Kenny, because so much you can get in with you. But look, even if you're not a NASCAR fan, you know who Dale Earnhardt is, senior and junior for that matter. But explain, and of course you had a great relationship with him. He helped you kind of get started. You helped him win the Winston 500. I watched that on YouTube last night. But Compare him to anybody else. How was your relationship with him, and how good was he, the Intimidator?
So Dale Earnhardt Sr., he was like the Wayne Gretzky of his time. He would be like, a Brett Hull, except more famous. Dale Earnhardt Sr. was a man's man. Every man wanted to be Dale Sr. He was that, he was the Marlboro man on the billboards. He was just incredible. What was more wild about him is he had this God-given talent to drive a car at a high rate of speed, better than anybody. He's a 7-time champion. And he just became one of my friends through my brother, Rusty Wallace. Right there in St. Louis, you've got some of the greatest race car drivers of all time. Whether it's, my brother that I'm really proud of, Rusty Wallace, whether it's Kenny Schrader, whether it's Carl Edwards, 80 miles up the road right there in, the land of Mizzou, Columbia, Missouri, and
yep.
Jamie McMurray. So, yeah, Earnhardt was one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest.
And Kenny, I'm watching the video the other day you put out where you're practicing on the track, on the dirt track. And I'm watching kind of the drift and how in corners you guys whip around like that. I'm just wondering, on your body, how is that different than a stock car as you're going around the asphalt? Because it looks like it's pretty fun on dirt when you guys are just kind of whipping around the corners there.
Yeah, it's two different disciplines, right? It's I'm relating everything to hockey right now because it's hockey season. Listen, it's like, okay, we're playing on ice right now, and we're going to take the same players and we're going to put on rollerblades. You can go play on, play on concrete. It's that big of a difference. But a lot of people like to show that they can do everything, right? We don't want to be one dimensional. We know a lot of you, Charlie, like to go golfing because you all want to show that you can do more than just hockey or baseball or football. No. So everybody wants to show their manliness. Look, let's go golf. I'm good at that too. It's the same thing with us, man. It's like, okay, we can race on asphalt, but watch this. We can run on dirt. And, the great Mario Andretti, the great A.J. Foyt, those great racers were really diversified. They could race on anything, and they would win the Indianapolis 500. They would win the Indianapolis 500, and then, the next day they would drive 50 miles down the road to Terre Haute, Indiana, and run on a big, 1 mile dirt track. And I found that amazing. And here I am, 58 years old now, and I wanted to do all that before I totally quit racing just to see what it was like. And the last 15 years have been some of the most enjoyable times of my life. I've traveled, hell, if not the United States, the world. I've been in Japan and Mexico and Canada and racing, and I've learned that it's fun to be diversified.
We're talking with Kenny Wallace, talking racing and some serious topics. He was at the border yesterday. And also, Kenny, we don't want to keep you too long, but we've talked about this where you detailed your experience, your family's experience with COVID. And correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like you kind of became NASCAR or the racing community's spokesperson in a way for going through COVID.
Accidentally. Yeah, what happened is, I know that you all can relate to this. So, now, listen, this is unfortunate what I'm going to say, okay? But COVID is not just a virus, but it is a statement, right? You're either a Republican or a Democrat, and it's very sad, and I don't agree with it. So what happened was when I got COVID, I had to tell everybody I had COVID because I had appearances set up. I had to do things, right? So you got to tell everybody, hey, look, it's like whether it's Colton Parayko, trying to play with the Blues, hey, I can't play because I got COVID. Oh, okay. You got to announce. Some of us, it'll be no different. One of you not on radio, right? Why is he not on radio? Well, because he's got COVID. So I had to announce that I had COVID. Well, one by one, all the great race car drivers called me, whether it was Dale Jr., Carl Edwards, Mark Martin, Clint Boyer, Shannon Spake from Fox. I mean, the names go up to around 60 people. And they all called me, and they're like, Herm, we had it too. It was unbelievably horrible. We had to rush our dad, our brother to the hospital. Hey, here's what we did. And I'm like, you guys got to be kidding me. You all had COVID, but you had to keep your mouth shut because you didn't want to piss off the Democrats or you didn't want to make the Republicans mad. So it was earth-shattering to me that people don't want to say they have it. It's amazing how many people that have had it but have not been counted. So I would say double the amount of infections, because people don't want the Democrats to know they got it. They're all a bunch of dumbasses. It's like only Democrats get the virus, and it really upset me because here my wife was about ready to die, and I had to rush her to the hospital. There at St. Anthony's, which is now Mercy's on 21. She was lethargic. She lost 10 pounds. My wife was in a bad way. And it was the great Dale Earnhardt Jr. He doesn't mind it now. Dale Earnhardt Jr. called me, our most famous race car driver, and he said, Kenny, he says, I love you guys. And I said, I know you do. He says, you got to get your wife up and get her walking. My buddy about died because if you lay around too long, you'll get pneumonia in your lungs, and it's bad. I said, I didn't know that, Junior. So, what I witnessed and what I've been through the last month is just heartbreaking, where people won't tell people they have it. They get tired. They lay in bed. They won't get up. They get pneumonia, and then people are dying. So it's really a piss-poor managed deal. And the government messed up by not telling people, look, get the vaccine, but you're still going to get it. That's the most, that's the worst message of this whole deal. If you get the vaccine, you're still going to get COVID. You just won't die. And they're telling everybody if you get the vaccine, you won't get it. And that's a big-ass lie. Yeah. So, that's everything I went through. And you can tell it's upset me. And the reason it's upset me because it about killed my wife.
Man, oh, man. Yeah, you know what? It is. And everybody is affected by it differently. And we're glad you're okay, Kenny. And we appreciate you coming on. You're doing great work. You can follow him at his YouTube channel, by the way. He's uploading every day, like a couple times a day. You're a busy man. You're doing great work. Good luck to you, and good luck racing, too.
And thanks for making our show better today.
Yes, that's the most important.
No, you make it better because you're the legend of St. Louis.
Kenny, thank you. And also, I love the fact Kenny calls Jimmy the Cat Hayes the Cat in the Hat, which I love. I love that.
That's what I call him, Cat in the Hat.
It's a beautiful nickname. Thank you, Kenny.
Thank you, Kenny.
Right on.
Go Blues.
Right on. Playing tonight.
Good luck.
Oh, by the way, and Kenny's awesome, by the way. Oh, my God. He's just so busy. He does so many different things. He's always on. Great YouTube channel, by the way. So check him out, Kenny Wallace on YouTube.